far off topic, but yeah, I mean, social media messed up everything. Like it messed up people's psychology. It definitely messed up dating and relationships. It ruins a lot of relationships for sure. I mean, when Facebook first came out, I was like, oh, this is great. This is the tool to be able to get in touch with your high school sweetheart. This sounds horrible.
Well, I do agree that it's probably done more harm than good.
Yeah.
But I do feel like I have to say that like we potentially might not be here
that's true
without it because we met on a dating app. And so I do feel like it expands people's range of who they can be introduced to and connect with. But that's also a detriment too, because it feeds into the grass is greener on the other side episode sort of thing that we did, so it's like that part is good, but I feel like that has become like such a small part
right
in regards to all of the harm that it's doing. And people, I feel like, will say maybe this stuff was going on, and it was to some degree, but it wasn't as easy to do. You know what I mean? Like people still did the wrong thing. They still went out and lived like double lives and had secret families and all that stuff, but it just wasn't easy to find out or something, or like the person you had a secret life with couldn't go on like Facebook and be like, and he has a whole family. Let me like, I don't know, be like, hey, you also have a family over here.
Yeah, it was usually, a traveling salesman on his train, get on the train and, has another family in Chicago or something, but
which is still horrible, but
but I mean, social media in general, though, I mean, what it's done. It's done a lot of bad things, right? So one of the biggest things I think is that it has made people unsatisfied with, because, if you were, back in the day if you lived in a small town, let's say you were a small town girl.
I did live in a small town.
The most number of men that you seen was, you didn't see some TV celebrities, you had your, not as picky, what I mean? And likewise for men as well. But I'm just saying it's like now that social media creates that exposure to, I mean, it not only creates the exposure to like a wider selection than what we actually even need as human beings, which makes our selection criteria go beyond what it needs to be, which we kind of talked about in that other episode. But also it creates now this inflation of value too, right? Where now, and I'll just use the girl example, but there's a likewise for a guy, but a girl can get on social media, post a picture of herself, especially when she's really young, like a teenager or something where she is insecure, and then she posts a somewhat provocative picture.
A teenager better not be doing that.
Hey, teenagers do that. You know what I mean? That's TikTok and all that stuff with the dance videos, that's initially that's why it blew up, was because teenagers were getting doing dance videos and skimpy stuff, and they're getting validation online. And
isn't that like illegal?
Yeah. And that's why it's not on there anymore. But I mean, that's how TikTok started. But still, what I'm saying is that it doesn't have to be a teenager, but a woman might post pictures, get validation, and then that's creating this inflated view of herself and her focus on where she gets the validation from, which is merely from the physical appearance. And so it's created a situation where that affects dating, because she's not as satisfied with the guys that are actually available to her. And then now you've got all these guys that you've got the whole like simp culture of just, paying girls or paying so much compliments and attention to women online, where they don't even know how to interact with a real woman in real life. So
yeah, people can live like a whole life just online now, and I guess be somewhat fulfilled from that because they can do so much and they're always connected to it. So it feels like they're living a real life, I guess.
Yeah.
But I feel like there was a point I was going to say, but it's like lost in my brain. We need our
our notes. Yeah, we got to get our notepads.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say that I don't feel like there's anything wrong with being picky, because I don't want people to settle and be like, oh, I shouldn't be picky. And then they settle and then they're unhappy.
Right.
I think it's less about like they're too picky and more about like the grass is greener.
Well,
so they don't want to pick one, even if that is a good guy that they normally would pick.
Right.
They're like, but what if this other guy is like one smidge better?
Right.
And so it's like always the grass is greener, grass is greener, grass is greener.
And I agree with you and I disagree with you. Here's what I'll say. Because I think we're probably on the same page on this, but we'll check. So pickiness, right? I think it's a bad thing. It depends on what you're being picky about, right? So if you're being picky about physical appearance, status, dumb stuff like that, superficial stuff, not a good thing. If you're being picky about personality traits, like does this person treat you well? You know, are they actually respectful to you? Do they actually have good character and moral values and things like that? And do they know how to treat a woman? Or they, you know, for a woman, is the man masculine? And you know, those character traits, obviously you should be very picky on those things.
Well, yeah, that's exactly the episode that we did. So and without going and redoing all of that over again. Yes, I agree with that. Like, but it's just like people, especially women here, like don't be so picky. And then they think that they have to compromise on those moral values.
Right.
Or that like they go on so many dates and they see that a lot of men are, you know, maybe don't have some of those things. So they're like, oh, maybe they don't even exist. And so then they end up compromising. So that, like, I agree with exactly what you said. But I also don't want women, because I feel like more often it is women being told, don't be so picky. I was told that, you know, myself, and I'm glad I didn't listen.
Well, guys aren't told, don't be so picky.
Right.
Guys are like,
because they'll take whatever is there. They're like, oh, okay. I'll take that.
Oh, the girl's interested in me? Oh, okay. This is like, I'm good.
Exactly.
Is, you know.
So I don't want to you know, say, don't be picky without like, at least going a little bit more into it. But I think you hit the nail on the head, and definitely go watch the episode where we talk all about this because it is important. But yeah, I agree with that. I feel like there's another point too to what you said that my brain has now. It's lost
it's lost
space.
in the.
But
I mean, it might come back, but because we'll circle around.
Yeah, I do think perpetually being online also has made everyone more vain and, you know, things like that. The one thing I do like that like Instagram has done and that I started doing when they rolled it out is I hide my likes. Because I'm like, I don't want to focus on that. And especially like younger kids, like you said, the ones that are like trying to get validation in that way. It's like so harmful for them. Like it's so harmful to post something just to be like, okay, how many people are going to like this? Like it shouldn't be about that. It should be that you like it, you want to share it for some reason and not have anything to do with the engagement that you're getting. Like obviously if you're doing something like we're doing here, it's like we want people to watch it and we want to get engagement because we want to help people.
Right.
But it's not like we want people to validate that we're good at podcasts or whatever. Or like our advice is good because it's like how I feel. And I know you probably feel the same way. It's like, listen to this and take the advice or don't. Like it doesn't matter.
Or have a horrible life. So
I mean,
if you want to have a horrible life and a horrible relationship, a horrible marriage, don't listen to us. Better than